So if we move from this place of fragmentation, we're just going to call it that, to this place of coherence here, and we think of this as flow and this as kind of more disjointed movement, right? Because there's a lack of alignment here. And here we release a sense of doership and we move into surrender. Then when we move into surrender, do we just let go?
No.
No.
You're going with the natural base of things.
We're going with the natural base of things.
Yeah.
Yeah. How do we know what the natural base of things is?
When we are in our heads and what?
A question on a Monday morning at 8 o'clock.
There's less struggle.
Yeah.
There's more ease and less struggle.
There's more ease and less struggle, and there's something there.
The head is not directing it.
The head isn't directing. Yes.
But it can be part of it. It's like,
But it can be, whoa, really good. Yes. All of these. Very good. Yes. Uh-huh.
I'll
Yeah.
put mine in.
Please.
Sometimes a fear of hurting in some way, or having something wrong.
Okay, there's a sense of rightness about things, not as in righteous, but as more just a sense of rightness about things and not a wrong.
Yeah.
Water is free.
And a sense of fluidity also with that.
And yet, if you just pour it out, it'll splash everywhere and go all over the floor. But you need to hold the water in a container.
Hold the
So that's what I see. Is
Yes.
that you need to have shape to allow for the freedom to enter
Okay.
the energy.
Yes. A little bit of what everybody's saying in a different form.
Yeah.
So if we say shape, then we take that to year one, which was alignment,
Yes.
and structure, which is the body's own self-organizing capacities. And then we go into year two, which was the listening, which is more my personal self-organizing capacities based on my history and my current conditions and where I think I want to go in the future. Then I've got to listen within to that. And then finally we get into here, which then, if we've gone through the process of really looking at the structure and the alignment, the shape, and we go to the listening, we go to like, how does that fit in with what I'm doing? Then we finally get to a place where it's intelligent surrender. And yes, and not new age surrender, let's call it that.
Mm-hmm.
New age, just let go. Oh, it's okay, whatever. I go to yoga to relax, No, you're going to yoga to really get a strong sense of alignment and structure in the body. You're going for self-inquiry. You're listening inside to see, how am I doing within this structure? And the same thing within Nia. And the reason I always go back to yoga first is because we know that it's easier to gauge the body, the sense of structure and so on. And to listen to, you're on the mat and you have a moment to listen here, and in Nia it's much more challenging, though you can get good at it over time, so direct listening while you're dancing, and that would be part of the intelligent surrender, is I'm dancing and I'm still able to hear all layers and levels. And what Olga was referring to, if I can find my piece quickly here, is, maybe it's this way, is that to move from sensation, emotion, and cognition, it's probably my last one, would be the key to that process of finally integrating intelligent surrender. Imagine stick figure here, sensation, emotion, cognition. Then I'll ask a question in just one moment. The question would then become in Nia, what are you doing in terms of alignment and structure to improve your niya, and if you're doing something, how are you applying it to your niya? Application makes all the difference in the world, right? Insight is just a lot of Google. How many times do we look up things on Google and then we're on to the next thing? So that direct application is the key to making the difference of going from here to here. So you have alignment, like I used to play racquetball in college. So you can play racquetball, you can play tennis, and you can focus on your personal physical alignment, but the application in both cases to how you actually move is quite different, even though they look similar. They're really quite different. So then it's like, how are you applying that alignment and that self-study in a certain way to niya and the dance? Now the dance implies this, and I'm not giving any hierarchy to things, but I would put yoga as somewhere here, or let's say mainstream yoga as somewhere as a bridge to getting to this intelligent surrender, which is what it's designed for, right? And so is niya.
Can I say something? I find it interesting that you just brought this question up, because I was almost thinking I might want to make a comment today, because I think we always say we see this disorganized person and then we see the smooth sailing person. I feel now personally that I hadn't done enough to align myself. See, I'm going for years and this and this and this, and finally I feel like that it's my responsibility to do actually more to get from this discombobulated thing to this. And that I personally have found out now that it's really my responsibility, because I've kept on talking a big game for all that time. But it isn't yet in the body. It's almost like you can drive a car with, like, pretend like I'm sitting in a chair and know everything what is in the car driving book. But then actually driving it takes more than just being able to say it. Does that make sense?
Yes, absolutely.
So
yes.
was not enough going on for me personally, coming from this to this. I mean, I'm not there. So
Yes.
that is an eye-opener to me.
And on the cognitive level,
Yeah.
if one could say, oh, this is how I'm applying that to my niya,
Yeah,
then we go, oh, okay, that's how that's being applied.
yeah.
You know, I can tell you exactly what I apply in my yoga, because it's slowed down,
Yeah.
right? To any particular pose or any season of my practice or whatever. And I studied the white belt for 10 years learning. So I'll give you a little clue here very quickly, and then Olga, is the 9 movement arts: organic precision, emotional expression, and functional movement. The Madaha, those give you 9 ways of self-inquiry, 9 ways to go in. How am I doing with this aspect of my being? Am I fluid with it? Am I absorbing this intelligence cellularly? So that when it does come up to the moment that I need my taekwondo or I need my tai chi, that it's right there in the moment for me. And that would be the key, you know, is that in that case we're moving fluidly. And actually, from Bonnie Bainbridge-Cohen, who's well known in the somatic world, she would say it's the difference between moving from the fluids and what I would call the memory matrix and the fluids, as opposed to moving from your sensing and thinking. You know, the sensing often goes with a cognitive element. You move from the fluids, you're just acting, straight acting. But you have to have engaged enough of your sensing at other levels to be able to move into that fluid action for whatever it is, whether it's something threat-based or something thriving-based. You would need that. So.